Good morning. Welcome to my channel. Excuse me if I sound stuffed up. It's because I'm very emotional. I've been, I just woke up just, honestly praising God and just being so grateful. So I wanted to get on here and talk about relapse prevention and just be very honest about how this disease, alcoholism, wants to kill you. Um, I am an alcoholic. I've been sober since January 1st of 2018. I'll be 5 years sober on January 1st of 2023, God willing. And recently I went back to school for medical assisting. I was a medical assistant 10 years ago, and I took the course 20 years ago when I was 22, and I worked in for 10 years. But becoming a alcoholic, I lost it all. Good morning. And good morning, pineapples. So the reason why I want to talk about relapse prevention, and I know that people that are not alcoholics or addicts, they probably can't identify, but I'm speaking to those who might not understand. I didn't relapse, but I entertained the idea. And some people might say, "Oh my gosh, Keisha, you're 5 years, almost 5 years sober. How could you entertain the idea?" Well, this is a disease. I didn't fall into it, but I was stressed out about finals. I never thought that I'd be entertaining the idea. I'm really hard on myself, and I just thank God. I had two finals, and I checked my email this morning, or not this morning, yesterday, right before I had to take my second final. And the teacher said that there were 5 students out of 25 that didn't put their name on the final. And she didn't know what she was going to do to those 5 students. Well, I'm grateful that I didn't see that email until I woke up in the morning, because I wouldn't got any sleep last night. So when I went to school early, I talked to some of the students, and everybody was stressed out. And I was just thinking, I was like, before I went to school, I was thinking, if I fail, I'm gonna get fucked up. Like that was my thought. I was in, and it was scary that I even thought that. And so I started calling some of my sober sisters. I was just like, I feel like drinking. They're like, don't do it, because you'll lose everything. And just the fact that I even entertained that, it scares me. It makes me realize I still have a lot of work to do, and that I can't let fear take control. And alcoholism, it's cunning, baffling, and powerful. And I'm starting to understand that. So what I did yesterday, I went to some AA meetings that were online. Just I just like let it run, let it run, let it run. And I emailed my teacher, and I was just like, if I was one of the 5, does that mean, like, even though I was, my percentage is a certain amount, I'm not going to move forward to next semester? And she said that she wasn't going to entertain any emails. And I was just like, oh my God. I was literally planning my relapse, you guys. I was like, dude, I'm gonna get fucked up, And then I was like, well, the thing I could, at least I can do, is like get myself a nice little, like, some sushi, something from Starbucks. And you parents out there that have a lot of kids, when you're trying to just do something for yourself, you really don't want, you're not trying to get the whole family something, you just try to treat yourself, right? So I went and picked up my 14-year-old, and I guess I forgot I said it out loud. I was like, he was like, Mom, what are you about to do? I'm like, oh, before I go to school, I'm gonna go get me some sushi and some Starbucks. So he goes upstairs, and I got everybody in the home now. I got the 24-year-old, my 14-year-old, my 10-year-old, and he goes, my 14-year-old, or my 24-year-old runs out, and he goes, Mama, you going to get sushi? And I was like, yeah. So then I had my 14-year-old come with me, and I went and got the sushi, and the Starbucks took a long time, but it was okay. And my 14-year-old, he was so sweet. He was just like, Mom, he was trying to reassure me. He was just like, just because if you're the one of the 5, it's okay. So let me tell you what us alcoholics do. I was picking apart, like, why, like the way that the teacher sent out the emails, it's like, oh, she didn't have to put us on blast, because I felt like I was one of the five. The reason why is because I had to retake, not retake, I had to make up a central nervous system, that, yeah, the central nervous system. And so when she handed me that paper, I I put my name on the paper. So just for fast forward, pineapples, I was one of the five. Okay. KP, would you say that addiction is a disease that is also a decision? I say that because yes, it is a disease, but once you become sober, you have to make a conscious decision not to engage. Yeah, I think that's part of it. Definitely. That I'm making that conscious decision right now. The thing that's shocking about it being cunning, baffling, and powerful. That's what it says in the big book. Cunning, baffling, and powerful, because the cunning part is like, it's like after all these problems that I feel like I'm having right now, I feel like, oh, if it doesn't go my way, I should numb out. It's because I don't want to feel this. I don't want to feel this at all. But I know that if I take a drink, it's ultimately death. I do agree with you. I do believe it's a disease, and it works on, I feel like for me, my mind, more than like me wanting to, like, I know that if I fucking drink, I'm done. And so I'm scared. I don't want to die like that at all. So don't stress yourself, KP. I know it's easier said than done, but you've got this. Thank you. Yeah, no, I'm not going to stress myself, but I think it's important for me to share like these real, and shout out to my girl, um, Faith Made by Legacy. I haven't, not like, we started off doing our YouTube together and sharing, and she would share about anxiety, and she would get on here, and if it looks like you're unmodded, sis, I will mod you back. I did that, like, it's an accident. It was nothing personal. I'm gonna go back over there and make sure that you know, and I think I have your number. But Faith Made by Legacy, she used to get on here, and she would have straight up, like, she would share her anxiety attacks. And at first I wasn't going to get on here, but I was just like, you know what? I need to share this. I was literally thinking about doing that. And I called on to my higher power, and God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. I could not change that the teacher could have thrown my final in the trash just for not putting my name on it. So when I went to school, she gave the class three options. She, of course, like, people were stressed all night who read the email. Thank you, pineapples. I'm gonna try not to stress myself, but what's helpful, talking about it, not holding it in. And I have a sponsee, but even though I have a couple of sponsees, and even though I have more time than them, they're my sober sisters. I called them up, and they're like, girl, you got this. Um, so the teacher gave us three options. She says, and it was crazy because I feel like she totally contradicted herself. She's like, first of all, I'm not going to out the people who didn't put their name on the test. She was like, you guys have three options. She's like, and I'm not going to be the one to say that they can't move forward, even though she's the instructor. She was like, but if it was up to me, I'd throw them all in the trash. Then she said, second, you guys are going to vote. You 25, including the five that didn't put their name on the test. Um, I'm stressed out right now because I was hit. Oh, Lord. Mm, yes. I hope that you're okay. And I pray that God helps you heal and increases your finances. And, I remember someone said, some hippie man said something to me in New Leaf last year. And it was like, I was so irritated. I was premenstrual. And I said, Merry Christmas. And he was like, it's Christmas every day. I know that sounds corny, but it's true. It's Christmas every day. I hope that things get better. Love you. Um, so back to the teacher. So she said, one, Mark, I'm going to give you paper and you can fold it up. She was like, mark one to throw it in the trash. Two, vote two if the people have to take the whole test over. Three, if we're just going to figure, those five are going to figure out who's who, and I will grade the test. Mind you, The test that was the vocab terminology test, it was 280 questions. 280, y'all. Okay, 280 medical terminologies. So I did the central nervous, boom, put my name on it. But when she handed me that terminology, it was like the first thing I saw was cysto or whatever. It was gallbladder. No, it was bladder. It was bladder. And I wrote that down and I just kept writing. I just was going. I was just like, just writing all of the terminology. It was like I was in a race, excuse me. And I just didn't want to stop. So the class voted for us all to just figure out whose paper it was, because no one knew who it was. Everyone in the class, like half of the class, didn't remember if they put their name on the test. So I was so grateful. But let me tell you this, when she gave me the final to do, I felt like I didn't know shit. I was like, God, please give me the answers. Okay, so when I found out of 280 terminology, you guys, I missed 12. I missed 12 pineapples. I missed 12. I asked the teacher, I was like, she was like, I'll email you what you guys got. I was like, and everybody was, people were so stressed out. People, when they found out, like they missed a certain amount, like they just like left. But what they didn't know was on the final, if you missed a certain amount, because you could only pass with a B on both of them, you had to pass with over 80%. Okay. So, I missed 12, you guys, by the grace of God. Out of 280 questions, I missed 12. Praise God. Like, the teacher was like, you rocked on that vocab final and you did really good on the other one too. And I was like, well, thank you. I mean, I don't want to, I don't want to be this stressed out, but you know what it made me realize? Even though I know that I'm getting good scores on my tests, I really need to practice more self-care, because I stress myself out this semester. And I'm so grateful that I did not relapse. So relapse doesn't have to happen. I've been going to this meeting 24/7 online. I don't want to say what it is. You could find it if you want to, because there's a lot of trolls, just like on YouTube, a lot of trolls. They come to this 24-hour open meeting, and it gets crazy. But if you really need a meeting 24 hours, go online, look up AA, and you will find a 24-hour meeting. I mean, all week I've been listening to this, and I'm just grateful. I'm grateful. I'm going to continue to share, my journey through sobriety and going back to school and working out and hair care. I'll throw a parody in here and there, but I'm just focused on my future and doing well and getting my career back. And I'm just so grateful that I did not drink. And I'm surprised that, like, I'm not surprised, because this disease wants to, you have to stay with the herd, or you will make the decision if to go back out there, is what we would call it. We call it go back out there. And I don't want to go back out there, because I don't know if I would ever come back. I'd probably die, and I don't want to die anytime soon. I feel like I have a lot more left to do here in this world, and I'm just so grateful. And I'm emotional because I'm scared and I'm grateful. So I know, I mean, I'm not gonna even put that energy out there. Everybody doesn't have to like me, but I'm just here for the person who struggles, or the person who doesn't understand about alcoholism or addiction. It's cunning, it's powerful, cunning, and it's baffling, cunning, and powerful. It's all of those things. And I was asked to say the 9-step promises, and I'm just so grateful to be alive. I'm grateful that I continue to put this disease under arrest. It wakes up 5 minutes before I do, and that's a common saying. And In recovery, your disease wakes up 5 minutes before you do, and it tells you, fuck up. Hey, you've been sober long enough. You know, take a drink. You're gonna fail. And I'm just so grateful that I didn't give in. If you're painstaken about this phase of your development, you'll be amazed before you're halfway through. You will know a new freedom and a new happiness. You won't regret the past nor wish to shut the door on it. You'll comprehend the word serenity and you will know peace. No matter how far down the scale you've gone, you will see how your experience can benefit others. That feeling of uselessness and self-pity will disappear. And I'm just going to stop right there. Like being an addict and an alcoholic, you feel so useless and pitiful. You have a pity party, and people really encourage you to stop. Don't pity yourself. And even though it sounds like I was pitying myself because I didn't know what was going on, I ultimately did not give in. And that feeling of uselessness and self-pity will disappear. You will lose interest. We, so I'm talking about we, because it's our promises. We will lose interest in selfish things and gain interest in our fellows. Self-seeking will slip away. Our whole attitude and outlook upon life will change. And that is so true, because if this was the KP Keisha, you know, almost 5 years ago, I would have had we have this thing called the fuck it's in recovery. Like we just fuck it. I'm just gonna lose it all. And that's tragic. Um, we will intuitively handle situations which used to baffle us. We will suddenly realize that God is doing for us what we cannot do for ourselves. And I guess, I know some people might not agree with this, but I want to make a verbal amends to my little sister, Aliyah. She's out there. I'm not going to say she's out there like for sure, because I don't know. It's just word on the street is that my sister's out there. Okay. And my sister we're not talking. We're not talking. She's only 23 years old. And I heard somebody share the other day, and it was just like, sometimes when you go to meetings, you hear your story. And I was like listening to this girl share about her mom talking to her about her sister trying to force, a connection for them to mend their relationship. And I was thinking about, wow, that sounds like me and my little sister, because, my sister's 23 and she's a year younger than my son. I know that sounds crazy, but it's true. And my sister and I aren't talking. And I had to ask myself, why am I not talking to my sister? Um, it's stupid. It's because I feel like my sister's stressing my mom out. I feel like my sister might be out there, and it's like I have to ask myself, if I'm helping a stranger or somebody I barely know in recovery, why would I treat my sister like this? And so I need to pray for myself and my attitude towards my sister. I know that she watches my channel sometimes, and I don't have her number anymore. And her and I got into it on Instagram a couple weeks back, and then we got into it on Instagram on our on our DM, and then she posted something on Facebook and tagged me, and it was ridiculous. It was this, it's embarrassing when you get into it with family on social media. It is embarrassing. And I love my sister, and I love you, and I hope that we're able to talk. She moved out of state and did not say anything to anybody, barely anybody. She didn't even talk to my son, and they're like pretty much siblings. So yeah, and I'm concerned about her. I'm worried about her. And I'm ashamed of how I treated her. I am. I'm ashamed of how I treated my sister. And Aaliyah, if you're out there listening, sister, I love you. I love you, and I'm sorry. I know we don't have each other's phone numbers. I know we blocked each other on social media. I was wrong. I was wrong to judge you. And I hope that you feel comfortable to give me a call if for whatever reason. And I hope that you call Neville. If you don't want to talk to me, call Neville, please. But yes, relapse doesn't have to happen. I'm gonna blow my nose. Hold on. Yeah, so I just wanted to get on here and I guess talk about relapse and let you guys know how close I was to entertaining the idea of maybe going there. And that's nothing but the enemy for me. I feel like it's nothing but the enemy, and I'm so grateful and that I did not take that first drink, because one is too many and 1,000 is never enough. And that saying is so true. One is too many and 1,000 is never enough. I hope that my share could help somebody out there that's struggling or maybe understand and about, how powerful, cunning, and baffling alcoholism or, addiction could be. I hope that you live in the solution and not the problem. And that's what saved me today. I'm living in the solution and not the problem. I literally dodged a bullet these past 24 hours. And I'm fighting for my life every day, and it's worth it. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. The extended version reads this: God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference, trusting that He will make all things right if I surrender to His will, living one day at a time, enjoying one moment at a time, accepting hardship as the pathway to peace, taking as He did this sinful world, not as it is, or as it is, not as I would have it, that I may be reasonably happy in this life and supremely happy with Him forever in the next. Amen. So thank you so much for listening to my relapse prevention story and encouragement. I hope that you know that no matter how many days you have, years to stay connected. And yeah, God bless you.